How you doing, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm having a look at something really exciting, really exciting for me anyway, as a huge Arnold Schwarzenegger fan, and anybody who is a big fan of Arnie will like this figure. This is the Siberian Custom Studio Jack Slater from the 1993 movie The Last Action Hero. We have the movie cover on the front of the box. It doesn't say Last Action Hero on it, but it is the movie cover. We have Jack Slater here with Danny Madigan and Charles Dance at the bottom there as Mr. Benedict. Just moving it around to the side, we have an extension to that. We have a few more characters from the movie. And then on the other side there, again, we have more characters from the movie. And then on the back, we have just a small little monologue or thank you from the Siberian Custom Studio team for making the purchase. And if I just slide this slip cover off, you can see that we have a plain black box. And if I can just get it open here, nice and gently so nothing falls out. And we have, first of all, we have a certificate of authenticity. We'll have a closer look at that in a few minutes. And then we have the figure itself and all of the accessories inside the box. So without further ado, I will get him out of the box and we'll have a quick pan of the figure before we get into the details and the accessories. So just giving a quick pan before we get into the accessories, and you can see he has his snakeskin boots on him there. Moving up to his jeans, we have a stick of dynamite in his hand, and in his other hand he has his cigar, or his stogie as Arnie would call it. He has his movie accurate belt buckle at the waist there, and his movie accurate Desert Eagle just tucked into his waistband, and his movie accurate jacket, and then a quick glance at the head sculpt. I'm going to take this opportunity to ask you guys to please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. So a custom piece here. I don't think anybody's going to be making a Jack Slater anytime soon. That's why I picked up this guy, because I loved the movie back in the day, although it does pain me to say it did flop, but I think it was ahead of its time. But there we go for a quick pan of the figure, so then we'll get into the accessories. So here we have the accessories and everything that comes with the Jack Slater figure from Siberian Customs. Just going to get this out of the way immediately because it kind of has a big shine off it there. So it's the certificate of authenticity. This certify that this product is an original 1/6 figure of Jack Slater, actor / character. Thank you for your purchase. Best regards, Alex Filippo from Siberian Custom Studio. That has the number on it there. It's number 13 of 30. Yes, that's correct. There is only 30 of these issued worldwide, so it is quite a rare figure, or quite a unique figure, and it has Alex's signature and the date of production. Not really sure what this certificate means. Does it add any extra value to the figure? I don't know, to be honest. Only time will tell on that one. You know, anybody can get certificates of authenticity with their product, so you know, it's in there, it's in the box. It tells you that it's number 13 of 30, so we'll see. Only time will tell as to whether that adds value to the figure or not. This little box here, as you can see, has the little SCS, Siberian Custom Studio logo on it there, and that's what the badge and the cigar came in the box. I was just using that to prop up the certificate. Moving along, we have his hands. And we have 8 hands, 4 sets, and you know, we have 2 trigger hands, 2 relaxed palms, 2 gripping hands, and 2 closed fists. And I can safely say that there is absolutely nothing custom about these hands. They are extremely bland, to be quite honest. There is, you know, not a whole lot of detail to them. They're very bland, they're very generic. They're a bit of a letdown, to be honest. I haven't seen hands this bad on a 1/6 scale figure in a long time, to be honest. Not overly impressed with the hands. As I said, absolutely nothing custom about them. There isn't even a hand made for holding the dynamite. There isn't a gripping hand wide enough. I was just using the trigger hand, you know, to hold the dynamite, and even at that, it's a little bit difficult. So, you know, his trigger hand is really the only hand that's going to hold the dynamite. Like I said, there isn't even a hand specifically made for the Dynamite, which kind of proves that they're not custom, they're just in generic hands. Looking at the stick of dynamite while I have it in my hand there, it's 3 pieces of cardboard fashioned into sticks of dynamite. It does have the fuse at the end of it, as you can see there, and it does have what's made to look like electrical tape holding them all together, or insulating tape holding them all together. Nothing outrageous, nothing that couldn't be made with about 5 minutes of your time, to be quite frank. But it serves its purpose, it does its job, it is what it is. And then we have his police badge. Now this I do really like. It feels like it's made out of metal. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's made out of metal. If I can get focused in there, there we go. And, oh, that's going the wrong way. There we go. Yeah, badge number 723, Sergeant Los Angeles Police. Completely movie accurate. Really nicely done. Some really, really nice detail in there. And it does have a little metal clip on the back of it there for hooking it onto his belt. So really, really nice accessory. That badge is done really well. There's a nice bit of detail in it. Just while I have it zoomed in there, actually, we'll have a look at his cigar, or his stogie there. It does its job. It has a bit of ash on the end of it there, as you can see. It's the right colour for a cigar. It's kind of crinkled up. You can see just the faint little wrapping line in it there. It serves its purpose, it does its job. And then we have his, quite well done in my opinion, his Desert Eagle. Looks really well, nice paint job on it there. There's a bit of weathering to it there. There's a bit of speckling, as you can see. It does have a serial number, and it has some writing there. What does that say? Israel Weapon Industries, is it? Made in Israel. And then on the other side we have the same text written again. There's no functioning parts on it, no moving parts. The slide doesn't move, the magazine doesn't come out, no, but it is what it is. I really do like the paint job on it though. It's really nicely weathered, and it does look like a used weapon. It does like, you know, look used and quite realistic. It's really nice. So there we have all the accessories that come with him. Nothing outrageous. Very disappointed in the hands. There's absolutely nothing custom about them. For the price of this figure, they could have made a bit more of an effort with the hands and not used the hands that just come with the face and body that's used for the figure. So here we have the Jack Slater figure standing pretty much straight up as he comes out of the box. Again, just another little disappointment. It's the lack of a stand. For the price of this figure, they could have made up a custom stand for this figure and supplied something for him. Anyway, I'm going to have to figure something out and get something sorted for myself. But starting off from bottom to top, in my usual fashion, we'll have a look at his footwear. And just if I can pull his jeans up, we can get the full length of the boots. Completely movie accurate snake skin boots. The pattern on the leather part at the top going up his shin is completely accurate. Great looking pattern on the snakeskin there. It looks absolutely fantastic. They're really, really nicely done. And, you know, there's no weathering on them, but they are, you know, completely acceptable. They go all the way up his shin as they should be. There's nothing on the sole, and flat sole as there should be. Yeah, they do an excellent job. They're really, really nice. Siberian Customs have done an excellent job at these boots and doing the snakeskin pattern on them. I'm really impressed with these boots. Moving up to his jeans, we have his denim jeans, and they're very thin. They're not the greatest quality in the world. They're all right, but my biggest issue with them is the fit of them. They're a bit too baggy or a bit too loose on him. In the movie, if you look back in the movie, he's wearing a pair of Levi's 501s and they're stuck to him. They're quite tight on him. They're not that baggy. I mean, Arnie's a big guy. Getting a pair of Levi's on him, you know, they were tight on him, you know. The jeans on the figure do the job. They have all the stitching and the pockets in all the right places. The stitching is really, really nicely done. Nice pattern on the back of the pocket and the stitching. All the stitching up the inside of the leg looks really, really nice. It's just that they don't quite fit him right. They're just a bit too baggy on him. And, you know, the material they've used as well is very light material. Yeah, it's not the highest quality, you know, that they've used for the jeans. It's a little bit of a disappointment. And then moving up, we have his completely movie accurate belt buckle, which says marksmanship, and underneath that there is the image of the Desert Eagle with the police badge and then Slater written at the bottom of it. Completely custom, completely movie accurate. The belt feels like real leather to me. The buckle feels like it's made out of metal, like the badge, if I'm not mistaken. It feels like a metal to me. Yeah, really impressed with that belt buckle. It absolutely is a custom piece and is completely movie accurate and looks the part. And the fact that the belt is real leather as well is a nice touch, and there's not going to be any issues with it flaking over time. I don't think there's any way of getting that belt off. There's no way of unbuckling it. No, it's glued on there. The buckle is glued on at the front there, so that would be a problem for a possible potential body swap that we'll discuss a bit later on. He has his red t-shirt on. You know, it's a plain red t-shirt. It's kind of a spandexy, stretchy material. It's, you know, I think he was wearing a cotton t-shirt in the movie, but it absolutely does the job. It does exactly where it's intended to do. You know, it's a plain red t-shirt underneath the jacket. And then on the outside, we have his outside layer. We have his brown or tan leather jacket that he's wearing in the movie. And this feels like real leather to me also. It smells like real leather too. If that's not real leather, I don't know. You know, it really feels like a leather to me. It does the job. The only complaint I have is you can see there that it just doesn't quite fit the body as well as it should. It's a little bit loose on him. In the movie, he filled the jacket out. You know, Arnie's a big guy. You know, the jacket, he filled the jacket out. It's my only complaint about the jacket. You can see where the sleeves come down past the arms or past the wrists as well. It's great for if you're raising the arm so that the sleeve doesn't go too short and you can adjust it. But with his hands down by his sides, the sleeves come down a little bit too far. And I did notice this, you know, in the promo pictures on their website. I knew exactly what I was getting into. You know, it's not a surprise to me that the sleeves were this long. But the jacket absolutely does the job. There is a functioning zip there. Not that he zips the jacket up at any point in the movie. Lined really well. Really nice quality lining on the inside. And the stitching all up here is... and all around the back of it, there's no blemishes in the stitching whatsoever. It's absolutely immaculate. The stitching looks great. I really, really like the stitching. It's scaled down really well. It's grouped really nicely. No real complaints about the jacket. It's movie accurate. Other than how it fits him, I've no complaints. But again, that's not the issue with the jacket. You know, the jacket's, you know, is done really, really well. So moving on, we'll have a look at the head sculpt. We'll get a close-up of the head sculpt and we'll take a look at the details on the head sculpt. So here we have the Jack Slater Arnold Schwarzenegger head sculpt, custom head sculpt by Siberian Custom Studios. And because I'm such a huge Arnold Schwarzenegger fan, I'm a hardcore Arnold Schwarzenegger fan, that's why I bought this figure. I don't see anybody making a Jack Slater figure anytime soon. That's why I got this figure. I would love to have every single character that Arnold Schwarzenegger played in 1/6 scale. I have as many of the Arnold Schwarzenegger figures as I can get. Arnold Schwarzenegger figures are what I started collecting in 1/6 scale. For the longest time, I only collected Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator figures and Dutch from Predator and as many as I could, you know. He's the reason why I started collecting 1/6 scale. I've since moved on to other IPs, but you know, and other characters, but Arnie was why I started collecting these figures. The head sculpt, to me personally, looks really, really good. I really like this head sculpt. We know exactly who we're looking at. We're looking at Arnie. It's done quite well. It's a nice sculpt for Arnold Schwarzenegger as Jack Slater. If you look back on the movie, you know what I'm talking about. He did look like this in the movie, although, you know, some people might argue that it's a bit kind of characterish. You know, it's hard to explain. Some of the features might be slightly over exaggerated. He is looking off to the left hand side, as you can see there. I'm quite happy with that. I think, you know, it wouldn't have the same effect if he was just staring forward. He doesn't have the moving eyes, you know, he doesn't have the rolling eyeball function like the hottoys do or some other companies do. So it is kind of, I really like that he's looking off to the side and not just staring forward. Looking at the hair sculpt, it's done really, really nicely. There's some good details in it there. You can see all the individual strands, you know, waving back behind his ear there. You can see the way it's separated in this section here at the back. And there's a bit of depth to it. It has a nice wash running through it. It's that, you know, it's the right colour for how it was in the movie. You can see where it's all separated and parted there at the sides and even at the top. Now, unfortunately, the bag that was on his head in the box has left a little bit of a shine on his hair. I'll have to try and mat that down. But the front of the hair looks exactly like it did in the movie, combed over to the side. It just comes out from the side of his head at the right, you know, the right amount. They've got the perfect shape on Arnold Schwarzenegger's hairline, if you ask me. And overall, I'm really, really happy with the sculpt. To me, it looks absolutely fantastic. There's some really nice texture in the sculpts. You know, you can see the shadowing around the cheeks. You can see the 5 o'clock shadow, the stubble, you know, right down to his neck. You can see that on his neck there's no seam line. His neck and his head sculpt are all one piece, all the way down to his traps, which is good in one sense. You can turn the head a little bit, but if you overturn the head, if you turn it too far, you can see there where the trap, you know, comes out. It does protrude out of the t-shirt if you overextend the turn on the head, because the trap is connected to the neck, which is connected to the head. So it is all one piece, and, you know, it does limit the articulation. With the jacket on, you can't really see it protruding out, but it is kind of protruding, and it is something that happens if you overturn the head too much, and it's only fair for me to point that out. The more I look at this head sculpt, the more I like it. I really, really like this head sculpt. There's some terrific paintwork done on it, you know, with the blend of the 5 o'clock shadow and the shading under the cheeks and the neck. You know, there's plenty of detail in the mold. Like I said, we know exactly who we're looking at. We're looking at Arnold Schwarzenegger in 1993. It is quite different to any other company's Arnold Schwarzenegger there, the Hot Toys Arnold Schwarzeneggers or the present toys Arnold Schwarzenegger figures. You know, it's absolutely amazing for what it is. You know, the paintwork and the texture in the sculpt and you know, like I said, the shadowing in the cheekbones and it's I really, really like this head sculpt. I know some people won't. I know some people are gonna, you know, probably comment and say it's terrible. I'm pretty sure that's gonna happen. It's not gonna be to everybody's taste. It's really only for hardcore Arnold Schwarzenegger fans, and that's probably why there was only 30 of them made, you know. My biggest complaint with this figure really is the body that they used. That's my main complaint. If you look here at the side, you can see he has no chest. Now, you'd have to be, you know, hiding in a cave to not know who Arnold Schwarzenegger is, and to not know that Arnold Schwarzenegger definitely has a chest. He had some huge pecs on him in 1993, coming straight off the back of Terminator 2 in this, when he done this movie. They've used a very, very generic Bison body. Can I get this jacket off without causing any hassles or any disruption here? Let's see what I can do here to get this jacket off. I think I'm going to have to do this off camera. Yeah, I'm kind of struggling to get this jacket off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop it and take it off camera there. So here we go. We have the jacket off, and as you can see there, it is quite a thin body. It is really... Arnie would not be happy with this at all. It's a very generic Fison body that they've used for this figure. You know, everything that's really... The main custom part of this figure is the head sculpt. And obviously the little bits like the jacket is custom, the belt buckle is custom, the boots are custom, you know, but not absolutely everything about it is custom. You know, I'm quite disappointed in the body, and for the price that they're charging, there should have been a better body chosen for this figure. Don't get me wrong, I'm not disappointed in it. I'm not disappointed in the head sculpt at all. I think it's different. I think it's a unique piece. It's another Arnold Schwarzenegger figure to add to my collection. You know, is it on Hot Toys level? No, it's not on Hot Toys level. But it's a custom piece for a figure that nobody else is making. Like I said earlier on about the jeans being too baggy on him, it's because it's not a big body. The legs on the body are really, really thin. They should have maybe tailored the jeans a little bit better to the body so they'd be stuck to him a bit more and look a bit more, you know, like they did in the movie. Maybe they planned on using a bigger body and budget wouldn't allow it because the jacket's a bit big on him. Look at those biceps. They're absolutely non-existent. No triceps, you know. But as I was saying, you know, the jacket's a bit big on him. The jeans are a bit big on him. Maybe they planned on you know, using a bigger body and the budget wouldn't allow it. I don't know. But the head sculpt is why I bought this figure. On the promo pictures on the website, they don't hide anything. You know, there is one picture where he has the jacket open where he looks like he has a bit more of a chest than this final product. But I did know that the jacket was a bit baggy on him or a bit loose on him. I knew the sleeves were too long. I knew the jeans were a bit loose on him. So, like I said, I'm a huge Arnold Schwarzenegger fan, a real hardcore Arnold Schwarzenegger fan. So that's probably why I bought the figure, you know, or why I spent so much money on the figure. So, overall, am I entirely happy with what I got for my money? The answer to that is it's a bit complicated because I'm such a huge Arnold Schwarzenegger fan that I'm willing to pay for unique Arnold Schwarzenegger figures. There's certain figures that I'm willing to pay for, or certain characters I'm willing to pay for. I'm looking forward to the Caustic Plastic, you know, Maestro Conan the Barbarian figure. I'm, you know, willing to pay big bucks for Catwoman from Batman Returns. You know, there's certain characters out there that I'm willing to pay big money for, and Arnold Schwarzenegger figures I'm willing to pay big money for. In 1993, when I was in my early teens, I absolutely loved this movie. I didn't care what the critics said. Like I said, I do think that the movie Last Action Hero was a bit ahead of its time. I think if it had come out a few years later, it might have been more of a success. But to answer the question, like I said, it's a bit complicated. I'm absolutely chuffed with the head sculpt. It's not perfect. It's you know, it's not perfect head sculpt, but I'm extremely pleased with it. I think it has character. I think it captures the essence of Arnold Schwarzenegger, especially during the time period. I think my biggest complaint is the body that they used. It's tiny, and because of the way they sculpted the neck into the traps, it's going to be very difficult for me. I'm going to have to strip him down and see if I can do a body swap on him. I'll have to dig a bit deeper. If I can do a body swap with a Fison M34, I'm going to do exactly that. There are a couple of parts that I'm extremely disappointed in. The hands being the main part that I'm extremely disappointed in. The closed fist hand there on him is really small. it does have its faults. It's not a perfect figure, but like I said, if you are a hardcore Arnold Schwarzenegger fan like I am, you are going to be happy with it, and you are going to be willing to pay the money for a custom Jack Slater figure, which I am, absolutely over the moon that I've added another character of Arnold Schwarzenegger's to my 1/6 scale collection. Like I said, I do have, a lot of the Arnold Schwarzenegger figures. I have pretty much all the Terminators. I have 2 of each of the new Terminator figures that are just been released. I have 2 of them on order from Sideshow. They're going to be coming to me very soon. 2 of the clean one and 2 of the battle damage. I've ordered 2 of the endoskeleton from Terminator 2. I have, Mr. Freeze or from the Batman Returns movie, the Hot Toys one, on pre-order. Pretty much anything Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'm all in. Anything Keaton Batman, I'm all in. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care and keep your eye out for future content.